Hello and welcome to Brothers Forge Gaming. You're here with us on our 50 for 50 challenge. We're going to go ahead and beat 50 Nintendo games over the next 5 months. That's 25 games apiece for Mr. C and EZ. So far, guys, we're 8 of 10 and working, going strong. I've got 4, EZ's got 4. We're going to get those playthroughs coming to you. So far, we've got Fester out there. We've got Mappy Land. And this is Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout. Again, on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Right here, what you have, guys. Now, this game has seen a recent increase in price, but for the longest time, it wasn't more than $5 at most places. I believe you can get it for around 10 or less, maybe a little more. But this game is worth it. If you like platformers, which if you enjoy classic gaming, and I'm sure you do, preferably for me, I enjoy platformers on the 8-bit. Once you get to the 16-bit era, they're great. Don't get me wrong. There's so much more going on with those games, but that's just it. A lot of time I like my platformers simple. I like to run and gun, and you know what I mean. I like a linear path when it comes to these style games. And this game, if you ask me, I'm a huge fan of the original Super Mario Bros. I enjoy speedrunning that game. I enjoy just playing that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's just a masterpiece for what it is. One of the greatest games ever made. And I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell you that this game is of the same quality when it comes to that. There's obvious programming and design flaws within this game, but you can speedrun this game, and you can do it rather you know, it's not like you're fighting bad controls the whole time. There are some tricky spots in the game where it might prevent you from going full bore, but possibly if you get good enough at those parts, you could just smash through them. We here at Brothers Forge Gaming are challenging ourselves to beat 50 games over the next 5 months. And a lot of these games, this is the first time that I have played a lot of these games. Now, when I bought this, I tested it, ran through the first couple levels as fast as I could, and that's when I realized, oh, okay, this is a really fun game because you can speedrun this game. And I mean, I suppose almost every game you can, if you are good enough can speedrun, but some of them kind of prevent you from doing it. And one thing I do talk about is I grew up playing Sonic. I enjoyed Sonic. I got a Sega for Christmas, when it came out. Sonic was the only game. It came with the system. It was the only game I had for it for forever, it seemed like. So I played the hell out of that game, and I wasn't, I was a kid. I wasn't necessarily thinking of speedrunning back then, but that was always the argument, is that Sonic goes fast, right? And Mario is slow. But what's funny about that is if you go back and you say play Super Mario Bros. The original, you can speed run that game almost entirely through the whole game. There's very few spots that make you go at the level's pace, whereas there are multiple places in Sonic where you are at the mercy of the screen or some weird function of the level that does not allow you to go full speed at all times. So I just found that interesting that was their entire basis of comparison to why you should play Sonic over Mario, is that Sonic goes fast. It's like, anyway, that's a whole other discussion. Has nothing to do necessarily with what we're talking about here. And again, so we're doing this. We're going to be beating these games. We got a few right now. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get all the videos out in time within the 5 months, but we are going to be beating them. We'll let you know our progress. As I mentioned, we're 8 of 50 right now, and we've got about 5 months and some change to go. So if you guys like to see Nintendo games beaten, you've come to the right place, because we're going to be beating a whole lot of Nintendo games. This game here, it's pretty straightforward for the most part. There's not a lot of trickeration or thought, like problem solving or puzzle solving that you have to do to complete the game. For the most part, it's point A to point B. There are, in the later levels, like every great NES game, the progression is to the point. I was even saying when I was playing, oh, this game is so easy. You know, I'm gonna be able to beat this in no time flat. But it gets NES tough. That's for real, and it sure does. So, you got to just think that when you play these old games, that it's gonna come down to where it gets tough. So be ready for that. So if you are wanting to play this game, if you are stuck, this is a complete run. It's all the levels. I did cut out. Okay, so between each stage, there are these bonus rounds. Most of them, you get one at the end of the world or whatever. You know, like World 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a different bonus stage at the end of each world, and it's really fun. It's whack-a-mole. Everybody loves a good whack-a-mole. For some reason, Bugs Bunny has this mallet. I don't know if I necessarily remember him having a mallet. I guess maybe that was just like a Looney Tunes thing. They all had mallets or something. It's been a while since I've really watched Looney Tunes. You know, I've seen them here and there, but great cartoon if you like classic cartoons. You know, obviously one of the best, if not the best, of its era. There was obviously Hanna-Barbera and some of those other ones that were putting out the hits too, but Looney Tunes was the staple. So Whack-A-Mole, you know, obviously is a classic. And then the other stages, most of the stages that you're going to get after, or most of the bonus stages you're going to get after each round, it's this weird, like, Kino style. If you've played Mario 2, the casino game at the end of that level where you get the coins in the level and you do very similar to that. And basically I was just tapping the buttons as fast as I could. That was the best way I was getting matches. I didn't try really any other methods. I tried to kind of do it systematically, and it wasn't really working out for me. So as soon as the thing would come out, I would just smash the button. But anyway, I edited most or all of those out for time reasons. The run gets pretty long. I think I edited out most of the deaths as well. So I'm not trying to sit here and tell you I did a flawless run. This is a game that would be pretty fun to try to do an actual speed run of. But we're talking probably a large time investment of playing this. I'm assuming a no-death run is possible. Would I want to try that in this game? No. As I mentioned, it's not that it's poorly made or anything. It's just not a masterpiece. It's no Mario. You might hear me say that from time to time. It's no Mario. When I say that, I mean it refers to the tight controls, the maybe like screen lag or something like that. And that's kind of what I mean. Because as I mentioned, I like to speedrun Mario. It's one of my passions. And so yeah, I kind of use that as the benchmark to comparing these games. But all that being said, I highly recommend this game. I think it's a very fun game. If you're a completionist, I don't know if you get more points or whatever if you get all the carrots. I didn't try to do any of that stuff. I didn't really look for any secrets too much. It seemed like most of the stuff you went through the rabbit holes to find, but I guarantee you there's some secrets out there. I think I found a couple 1-ups in the levels. These boss fights are pretty straightforward as well. Some of them are a little different, and that'll throw you for a loop too as you're going along. Is that most of it, like I said, most of the boss fights are super straightforward. When you get to the end, I don't want to spoil it. Who you fight and what you do, but it's a completely different mechanic than you're used to. It actually took me a little bit of time to figure out, and I was playing this, and we actually had somewhere to be, and I was at the last boss, and I was like, man, I'd already been playing for probably about an hour and a half, and I do not want to have to replay all these levels. So anyway, long story short there, I was able to defeat the final boss within... Well, it went over a little bit, but you know what? It had to be done. It got done under extreme amounts of pressure. So it made it that much more sweet when victory was achieved. Well, alright guys. If you want to sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of this playthrough of Bugs Bunny on the NES. Like I said, the playthrough goes... I want to say I got it down to about 40 or so minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. There's, left the cutscenes at the beginning and end in. There's also not I don't know if it's a sequel, but there's another Bugs Bunny game on the NES. It's more of a puzzle game, kind of like Lolo maybe, or Milon's Castle, or one of those ones, Solomon's Key, something like that. So if you like those games more, very similar game in design and everything. It's just more of a puzzle game. So yeah, go check that out. Like I said, enjoy the rest of this review. If you're playing this game and you're stuck, we go from all the way from the beginning to the end. So hopefully that'll help you out. If not, watch some of these levels. Check out my skills or my lack thereof skills. Go ahead. Let us know what you guys think about this game. Leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions, your experiences with Bugs Bunny's Birthday Blowout on the NES. We are Brothers Forge Gaming, and we'll see you on the next run.